Hey guys, welcome back to LQ's Creations. I hope you're having a good day, a good morning, a good afternoon, a good evening, whenever you're watching this. So today I thought I'd come back with a video of some sorts, kind of testing me for one, working with more mixed media things. So as you know, I stated in a video previous that I'm fortunate to have a local scrapbooking store that I am a part of, or have the opportunity to be a part of, to do some designing for them, like make samples, you know, products and things for people to buy in the store. So one of the visits, I was given and a chance to play with Simon Hurley's line. Now I'm not totally stranger to some of Simon Hurley's products, because I do have some, like some of the solar paste and things like that from various events I've gotten. I've even bought some. But this particular one is part of the new line that has been brought out. So I'm going to bring these things in, and I probably should turn them this way so that you can see them better. So what I got a chance to play with is these lovely things here. Some of his inks. Like I said, I'm not new to his solar paste, because I think the Astro paste and solar paste are just one of the coolest things out. And so but I've never played with any of his inks. And I thought, of course, because the funny thing is I was actually looking at them to buy them to use to make for things. And then this is kind of a way for me to decide if I'm going to actually buy any of the inks. So it's a good way for me to test out the product, see if it's something that I want to buy personally myself. If not, you know, then hey, I can at least say I got to play with them. I know a little bit more about them and this and that. So what I was given to play with was one of the solar sprays, and this one is Neptune. I've actually used this one on a card front, and this one's really pretty to give just that little extra shine that you need. So yeah, love his solar sprays. So there's the solar spray. And then next we have the Astro paste, and this one is called named Frostbite. So that's this one. So yeah, like I said, I've had a chance to play with his paste, and oh boy, do they give a nice shine for color and everything on a very beautiful background. So looking forward to hopefully playing with that and putting that on something. So we'll put that off to the side. Next, I thought this was interesting because he just came out with brushes, and I'm really curious to use his brushes, and currently at the time of this video they are sold out just about everywhere I can think of to look. So I'm gonna have to keep a lookout. Hopefully my local scrapbook store, which I totally forgot and I apologize, the scrapbook store that I am affiliate with is called It's All About the Scrapbook in Dixon, California. Please give them a call and look them up. Anyway, back to this. So I'm hoping they'll get some of these. I've actually played with this brush a little bit. I can say the bristles are really soft, and it blends well and it works well with his inks. And then next we've got the 4 colors that I'm able to play with. So the first one is called High Tide. And as you can see, this is a really pretty kind of light, I want to say this is more like a lightish, you know, kind of teal color. To me, it leans more towards the teal sides, but you know, you could say it's more kind of like a light green. So it just all depends. But anyway, I think it's just a pretty color. And if I open up the Inkpad and you get a chance, that's what the color looks like. So isn't that fun? That's going to be really fun to play with. Next we have this one, and oh, excuse me, that color was called High Tide. This one's color is called Clear Skies, as you can see, and this is definitely a lighter blue, and I think this is going to be pretty. And then when you open this one up, the Inkpad looks like that. Boy, isn't that pretty. So that's going to be fun to play with. And then next we have, of course, both actually three. These are all in my wheelhouse, my favorite colors on the whole color spectrum. And so this purple, I think this is just pretty, just a pretty purple. It's called 100% juice. Now, isn't that a name for a color? But creative. I'll give him, some of his names are very creative. And that's how that looks. That's a very deep looking purple, but it's pretty. So there's that one. And then, of course, last but not least, we got good old black. Now, he calls this one Black Window. So I think that's kind of cool. And, of course, it just looks like a normal black. So there's the 4 ink pads. And then also, he came out with some new stencils and some new dies. So I got a chance. So this particular stencil looks like it's like a weave and woven pattern, this one. So I think this one is definitely going to be fun for inking and stenciling and everything in. And he calls this one Bubbly. So that's that one. So there's that stencil. And then next, we've got this one, which has got like, what do you call this? I think like, what is it? A school of fish? Or he calls this Fish Frenzy, which makes sense. I mean, look at all those fishies. And that'll be fun to play with and stencil and everything. And then next, we've got one of the stamp sets in the collection. I think this is the only stamp set in the collection. So you've got one that says, see you soon, you're incredible. Pretty cool. Oh, Carp. I forgot your birthday. I see waving hello. You occupy my thoughts. Sorry, I was crabby. Happy birthday, you're really cool. Excuse me, you're really cool. I love you. May all your fishies come true. Celebrate. That's pretty cool. And as you see, it's got like the fishies and the octopus and then some seashells in it and stuff like that. It's got lobster and it's got a crab. So I forget what this one was, a sea sturgeon. I think that's what this one is. I think. Don't quote me on that. Yeah, because you know my mind slips, as you guys have already seen. Anyway, so this is some of the fun things that I have to play with from his line. And so I will get some paper. Oh, and then of course I bought a while back, which I'm kind of glad I did when I first saw this come off of Ranger, the site itself. I bought this one, which is his stark white cardstock. So this one should be really good for working with his inks and everything. And it's 110 pound weight paper. So it's going to be pretty heavy weight and pretty good for doing some of the inking and things like that on it. So I will go ahead, get some out, get the mat out, and just kind of start making it an inky mess. I kind of got an idea of something in mind. What I'm going to do is take one big old sheet, just do a whole bunch of background to it, stenciling, and hopefully from there I can cut out like 4 panels for A2 size cards, and just make some cool simple cards, you know, for the design for the store, to be able to give, you know, others an idea of what to do with this. So I will get going with that. As I'm doing that, I'll have music playing, and hopefully you'll get your groove on. You'll get a chance to see me making a big old inky mess, but working and having a lot of fun at the same time. So I'll be right back. We'll get going. Okay, so I wanted to stop in here and just give my opinion quickly on these inks. As you can see while my background is drying, what I did was, in a previous video, I did show that these were the blending brushes I had got from Recollections. And I thought this was probably really a good time to also play with them besides the Simon Hurley brush or blending brush, just to see how his inks do with other brushes. And so, you know, I used 3 different ones. Here's one I have from Hero Arts and the Recollections, as well as his. So my thought on these is these are good inks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not the ink expert by far. But what I did want to say is they're good for someone who's a little bit more advanced than some of us, like myself, who is a little beginner. As you see, I kind of struggle a little bit, and I'll be honest, I have taken these inks and streaked them on paper, which I will actually let me move this to the side and let this continue drying. And what I'm going to do is, on camera here, I'm going to get another piece of paper, and I'm just going to streak down. This is just some normal white paper, so it's not by far going to be any of his, as you see that I have that I was using. But just so that you can see how juicy these inks are, if you just take these and just kind of streak. Look at how juicy that is. I mean, wow. So yeah, these are some really juicy ink pads. That's one color. And then if I come in with the purple, just trying to look how, yeah, that's how, if you can see the wetness off of the paper, that's just how juicy these ink pads are. So for someone who's kind of a beginning intermediate, yeah, they're good. I'm not going to not knock them down that they're not good for blending, because they are. I mean, they blend well with his brush, of course. And they blended well with the Recollections brush, as you saw when I was demonstrating, or in there, you know, working with them. I just not sure if these would be ones that were beginner friendly. If you were wanting to get them and just, you know, play with them, as we all need to. Get your inks, play with them, and we all have our different ones we like, and this and that. I think they're okay, but I think, to be honest, they're kind of in a category, kind of like, I want to say how Tim Holtz inks are, which of course is by Ranger, but his inks are in, to me, a category by themselves. They're a little bit different inks than the normal inks of like Alta New or Gina K, which those are one of my favorite inks. I even have some from Concord and Ninth. So I'm not being biased. I'm just giving my opinion. I think these inks are just kind of like, to me, for a little bit more advanced crafter than, let's say, myself. So if I was giving my little 2 cents, if I would recommend them, probably not. Not until I got to be on the more advanced level. And that's kind of how I think Tim Holtz inks are altogether. They're just kind of off in a league of their own a little bit. Their mixture of inks is a little bit different than everybody else's on the market. So I thought I would just stop there just to give you an idea of what I thought about the inks. And so I will go ahead. I'm going to let my sheet dry, and then I'll come back with finished products. So as you can see, I had a lot of fun playing with the inks and everything, and actually I really did. Still standing by what I said, but I actually, after I played with the inks a little bit more, I actually have went on and purchased more of the Simon Hurley ink colors and everything. So I think this is still really cool to play with. You know, if you are just starting out as a beginning crafter, and let's say you don't have any inks and you want to learn, this might be still a good set to go ahead and buy. If it's your first time out the gate, you're wanting to try some inks, go ahead, because the more you use them, the more you'll learn how to use them. So, and that's with anything. Believe me, when I was starting out, boy, did I have to really look at YouTube videos from other influencers and crafters and some of the companies themselves, trying to learn some of these new tools, because those of us who are a little older and been around here have seen some stuff and it's like, whoa. So yeah, but it's so much fun to play with this stuff and just get a learn for it and everything. So I'm going to move this to the side. And as I'm going to put the reveal. So the first card I ended up making was this little guy, which I had stamped a whole big old 8.5 by 11 sheet. And I ended up only doing 2 cards. So I did this one, but this one's kind of fun because it does this, so it kind of moves and everything. So you can kind of play with it and everything. And just put this simple "sorry I was crabby" on it. And then just kind of, as you remember, I did, you know, some of the inking and did, you know, took some of the solar paste and put on there. So really fun. So here's card number 1. So that's how that card came out. I think the colors are really gorgeous, and I do like it, that sea kind of mermaid kind of thing. So there's card 1. And card 2, this by far was this guy. So I'm put this down so you really can see it, because I ended up actually doing a slimline card, which the funny thing is, when slimline came out, I was all the craze, was all excited about a whole bunch of slimline stuff, and then find myself, my favorite card size is 6 by 6, because I think you get a lot of real estate. But you get a lot of real estate on this one, because this is, I believe, this card was, yeah, 4 inches by 8.5. So that's the size of this one. So what I did was, from the same sheet that I did, cut half of it off. And then I ended up, I don't know, for some reason, I was on a vellum craze this time. So I took the stamps and stamped the lobster on some vellum and stamped the octopi, and there's some fish in there. And then got a really just a one cover that you can do for putting shakers in by Tonic Studios, and decided to do that and created this little fun guy. So you can shake it up, move it around, and then just put a simple little statement on there, "Happy Birthday," and that's how this card came to life. So 2 little cards that I thought, that I hope that It's All About the Scrapbook will like to put on for display, to show everybody, to give some ideas of how to use this set. And so it was really fun, again, to play with the inks, just make a mess and just have a good time. As you can see, I did previous, and so I still want to say thank you to Yvonne and Andrea for letting me be a part of this wonderful project, as well as, you know, designing for the store. And so thank you to, again, It's All About the Scrapbook, and these cards will be on display. And so if you happen to be buying, you want to see them in person, stop on by to the store, say hello to the ladies, and yeah, buy a few things and support our local craft store. So until next time, I will see you. Bye. Oh, before I go, I'm sorry, I also had a chance to play with another set, and this set is by Hero Arts. I didn't make a video about it, but I just figured I would just put this in here just as a show of a little ways, because I have to admit, this set is nice by them. It's like it's a peppermint kind of a theme to it, but I'll be honest, it's not one of my favorites. But it is sweet to work with. So if you just need some kind of inspiration for Christmas or something, I came up with this sweet little card, which I hope that they will like and put on display. And so it's just simple. I inked this particular background with candy cane, because there's candy cane stencils in there. And then I put this on there, holiday vibes and peppermint skies, and then cut out a few peppermints. And then of course, as you all know, my silver is my favorite color. That's my signature in cards. That's kind of how you know a card's by me. And so just did that. I used some spellbinders things to cut this out, and I'll tell you the card base I used was from this one, the Perfect Touch rectangles and tags. So I used this size, and then I came on in with I also used the Perfect and I have to admit, my friend Suzanne Hugh always loves these, and now I see why I'm starting to like them as well. I came in with this set here, which this is the Precision Layering A2B. So I came in with this size for the candy cane, and then I came back in with the next size down on this one with the Perfect Touch rectangles and tags. And then I just used a like a kind of a rough edge kind of die to cut that out, and then just stamped on vellum. See, I told you I was in the vellum mood for this. So, which is a new one for me, because I normally used to just use vellum as just like an insert for something. So to actually, for me to do this and stamp and everything, that, hey, I'm pretty proud of myself. So yes, I'm tooting my own horn. But anyway, had a little bit of fun with this, so I thought I would just show this card on here. I didn't make a video for it, so this is one. Again, if you want to see it, hopefully it will be up on display at It's All About the Scrapbook. So again, here is these cards. Let me move this out of the way and put that over there. So these are these 3 lovely cards. Kind of weird, huh? 2 C cards and 1 Christmas card. But hey, that's how it is. When you're in Life of a Crafter, we make cards for all kind of occasions, depending on whatever season it is, the time of year. And as you know, this is Christmas in July, and I will be back with some Christmas cards for Christmas in July. I know we're almost to the end of July. Good grief, the time's flying. I got a little bit behind because I had family just here visiting. So fun to spend time with my husband and his family and my family, and so family is important. Also too, I wanted to take this time, you know, we just lost a few icons, Malcolm Jamal Warner, rest in power, and one of my icons growing up. So again, thank you to It's All About the Scrapbook for letting me have fun with this, and I will see you guys in the next time. Now this time I really am gone. I'll catch you in the next video.